What's up, everyone? Brandon with Strict Vision Athletics here with the Bandbell. Yes, I've got the Bandbell Shorty Bar here. Bandbell is a company that I discovered, actually I've known about it for a few years, and I've had these for probably 1 year. I really like it. They have several products that I actually don't have, if you can believe that. They've got their Earthquake Bar, they've got a couple other things that I don't really have too much use with, but what I really love from their company is the Shorty Bar. Yes, this is one of the only products that I have found that gives that instability that you come to respect from their company in a dumbbell variation. And that's very unique. Typically, if you wanted to come up with a way to do some kind of a single arm press or a single arm dumbbell exercise that incorporated that kind of instability resistance, it would be hard to do on your own. And this is something they've made. Essentially, the design of this is it's a wooden make, very durable, very solid piece here, and it comes with these little grooves where you can do bands. Take the bands, hook them to resistance, and then perform exercises. You could go bent over rows, you could do single arm military, which is my personal favorite. There's a whole lot of exercises that you can do with these. Now, what I have found is that in order to get the full and complete setup, this is kind of what I've come up with. You've got a combination of 3 pieces of equipment in order to really make this an optimal training exercise. You've got the Bandbell, which is what you got right here. You've got the short bands right here by Elite FTS. They're these little micro bands you see right here. And then you've got the Rogue loading pin, and you've got 2 of these. So I've got 4 bands because I like to have options on the kind of resistance I have. And then I've got 2 of the pins, 1 for each side, obviously. And then, as I mentioned, if I was doing like a single arm military press, this is the way that it would look. Now, here is where I'm going to go with this. Let's start the review, and we'll start it the way we always do. Pricing, quality, usage, footprint, and customer service are our categories that we're going to go over, starting with price. Now, this is $160. That's 1 of these, no bands, no weight. And that is something that you're going to have to understand when you first purchase this. You're not going to have everything you need in order to perform on this piece of machinery. You're going to need to buy other things. You're going to need some kind of resistance, whether that's plates, whether that's dumbbells, whether that's a loading pin with plates on it. Whatever it is you use, this is not going to suffice all by itself. You're going to need that, and you're going to need bands, which is not to say that this is a completely impractical purchase, but just know that when I say it's $160, that's for this right here. You're going to have other expenses that come along with that. In light of that, the pricing is a little steep. In my opinion, $160 for an incomplete piece of equipment. And if you go with the setup that I have, you got the Rogue pins and you got the bands, you're closer to $260, maybe closer to $3, just depending on the quality of what it is you want to go with. You're looking at right around $300, something to get this thing going. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to give it a 5.4. 5.4 for the price is just to reflect the fact that you do have to make those additional purchases in addition to buying the Bandbell itself. And the Bandbell itself at $160, it's a okay price. I still think it's a little steep. I think they've priced it just above where it should be, in my opinion, just knowing that I have to buy other things to go with it. Something to keep in mind. Some people that really won't matter, and when I bought it, it was just, I knew I wanted it, so it wasn't a big deal. Let's go to quality. Much improved upon the score. Here, the quality of this, I'm going to give an 8.3. As I mentioned, it's made of this nice wood material. It's very durable, very sturdy, and they had in mind what they wanted when they made it. You've got these sections and grooves for the bands. It's just really durable. The handle itself spins. The only thing I will say, and I will give this to Bandbell as a suggestion, add a grip to your actual handle. That is one area where I had to improve upon the product myself. I had to actually wrap this in tennis grip tape so that I could have a better handle on the handle itself. But other than that, it's a well-made product, very well-designed. I'm going to go 8.3. 8.3 for the quality. Usage. Usage is our third category for the review. Now, as I mentioned, this does provide a very unique style of resistance. It's training for stability. Using equipment that is unstable is kind of the goal here. That's what this is designed to do. You've got a piece of machinery that is going to have those anchored resistance forms on either side that are going to be bouncing and swaying and moving, and your job is to keep that from happening. I love that kind of training, but it really is limited to only that kind of training. This is not going to replace dumbbells, not going to replace barbells. It's really not going to replace anything. This is just meant to be what it is, and you're going to use it for a very niche style of training. In light of that, I'm going to give it a 6.1. 6.1 for the usage is just reflected on the fact that this is not an all-around machine or something that has a wide array of different movement patterns. It's got good movement patterns, but they're very selective. So in light of that, 6.1. Footprint. Now, when it comes to footprint, the only thing I will say, I personally hate leaving equipment on the ground. I like all my stuff to be either hung up or on a shelf or have its home somewhere. These guys are kind of tough to get to that point. What I ended up doing was actually taking my wall control panels and putting a little peg and hanging them from the little straps you see right here. That's how I hang mine up. Now, that is sort of my solution to the problem, but a lot of you might end up just doing something like this, just leaning it up against something. It has a small footprint, but it is something to take into consideration. You're probably not going to bring these with you to the gym. They're just big enough, especially if you have two of them. Probably not going to haul them around all that much. In light of that, I'm going to give it a 7.1. 7.1 for the footprint, I think, is a very fair score. It's a good score. Not the best score, but it's a good score. Lastly, we have customer service. Full disclosure, I haven't actually had a lot of interaction with Bandbell, either positive or negative, and as many of you who follow the page know, when that's the case, I give it a 7, just across the board. Haven't really had anything good or bad. They seem like a good company. They've got a good social media presence. They do seem to answer questions, but I myself have never really had a issue they resolved and helped with, nor have I had a negative experience in any way, so it's right in the middle at 7. The overall score for this is a 6.78. 6.78 for the Bandbell. It's a good product. It's very specific to what it's designed to do, so keep that in mind when you buy it. This is a luxury piece for the gym, for your home gym. It's not a bare essential. It's not something that I would go out of my way to say you must have and must get, and when I design gyms for my clients, I'm not including this in their original bit unless they specifically request that I do so. So the Bandbell, when you do get it, it serves its purpose beautifully. It's well designed, well crafted, and it does its job. That in mind, that is the Bandbell, and that is the review.